practice. I think everything we've talked about, every issue has come back to education. So, like any other topic, whether you're a gamer, you like gaming, or you like sports, practice, learn the craft, learn your trade, learn how the firearm works, learn how to disassemble it, learn safety protocol, get to the range and learn how to use it responsibly, because everyone's heard of scenarios where some of the worst firearm incidents are ones where people weren't educated and then they were fearful with the power in their hand. Like, what are we talking about? Not knowing how to use it and not trusting themselves and not trusting the firearm. So learn your craft,
Do you think there should be a schooling or a class needed to be taken? I know when you take a firearm safety course for a concealed.
Even a hunting safety
Yeah,
course. Like you go through all types. You do black powder, handgun, and bow and arrow just to
Yeah.
get comfortable with it.
Yeah, do you think there should be something required with the purchase of a firearm?
I'm always going to defer away from any answer that takes away from education. The concern I have is more a financial one. Not everyone can afford the same amount of education or level of education, and we've seen historically all groups of different types of people discriminated on those kind of factors. Like, well, you can't get the education, you can't have this right, but it's because I'm at a fiscal deficit. And so it's hard to, because, and another thing is you may have grown up around firearms and you could be 21 years old now and have 21 years of real experience and know more than someone who didn't grow up and turned 21 in a day and read a textbook and did the course. And so it's hard to validate it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's my concern with compelling requisite education.
Do you think there could be, or would it be a state program that you would be for? It would be a free educational program?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to promote higher taxes for us, right? But if there was something that was open to all, and you said, okay, you have to do it, and we're going to make it available to you, that's awesome. I think education on all levels is great. So, yeah, if you make it accessible to all, and you make it available to all, then I'm more comfortable mandating that requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want
Wonderful.
people to do it anyway.
Absolutely.
Yo,
All right.
his shirt, whiskey helps.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Shit.
So what we're going to is,
So I don't know if you asked the question. You want to ask the question as far as being under the influence of marijuana and then using the firearm in a self-defense scenario. Something we talked about off camera was just substitute the marijuana for alcohol. You're not supposed to be in possession of a firearm under the influence of alcohol. So even to the extent that you may have subsequently legally used the firearm in self-defense, you could still be charged with having possessed a firearm while under the influence of alcohol. And another example to make it even simpler is if you are not allowed to have a firearm in the first place, if you're a convicted felon. So you already cannot have the firearm, but you used it in self-defense. Well, so you may not be liable for the homicide, but you can still be charged for having it in the first place. So
Right.
Okay.
having you again, it's they're independent issues, right? One doesn't wash away the other.
yeah.
And so that's kind of what happens with the marijuana. It's like, well, whether you're under the influence or not, it's, okay, you used it, but you shouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why would we give you the benefit of then using it properly? You shouldn't have been there.
Right.
And that's the concept.
So if we put out a scenario, you would let us know as the firearm owner what to do legally.
Sure.
So me and Brooke were sitting around at the studio having a couple cocktails, and someone breaks
So
in.
where are we now?
We're in the Thin Red Line Tactical Studios.
Okay.
Having a couple of drinks. We're doing a
Okay.
podcast. Late night, comfy questions with Brooke. It's a good program. It's something else, but it goes well. And then someone tries to break in. But we've had a couple of cocktails. Brooke defends us and takes down the assailant in the living room.
Why'd you make that face? I could defend us.
I know. Actually, I was admiring the fact that you were the one defending
Yeah.
everyone as opposed to anyone else. So that was more me commending that you got up.
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to
everyone
break
Okay,
this glass.
okay.
I've had this glass since '93. I'm not breaking it. So I'm protecting this. She's protecting us. Now, what should we do? What's the course of action there? The assailant's
After
down.
Brooke has successfully
Yeah.
defended everyone,
Yep.
so the first thing you would do is you would call your attorney.
Okay.
Okay. Even if you believe, even if it's concluded that Brooke did act reasonably in self-defense, my advice is always going to be: you do not talk to the police. You call your attorney first, then you call 911 because you have an obligation as a gun owner to call police if there's been an incident, and then you say nothing. You say nothing. You admit to nothing. You consent to nothing.
Yep.
And that goes beyond or even before the issues of whether alcohol was involved or not, because the reason why I had gone back and asked where were we was, were you somewhere that you were legally allowed to be around alcohol and firearms
Yeah.
in your home versus
Correct.
if you were at the bar drinking, well, you shouldn't have a firearm at the bar. So that's why I asked that
Yeah.
first. So
No,
you're in
no,
the
wonderful.
home,
Wonderful.
and that's great. You're in the home, you're being responsible gun owners, and you're indulging in your right to consume alcohol. I presume you're both over 21?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just barely.
Well, it counts. 21 a day is legal.
right.
So, and then you have this perpetrator who comes in, and you have a stand your ground, defense of self, others' property. So that's all good, but the police are not there to do the lawyer's job. They're not there to figure the case out. They're there to make arrests.
Yeah.
And just like we said a moment ago, even if you used the firearm lawfully, why open yourself up to incidental issues?
Yeah.
So I would say I'm ethically prohibited from saying anything that will allude to destroying evidence as far as where the glasses are, where the bottles are, where the Listerine is, things of that nature. But you call your attorney first. You call 911. And when the police get there, you say, call my lawyer. So
Yep.
I have my lawyer, and that's it. And I say that because it's not just in jest, but you have more rights afforded you at that moment when you have an attorney versus when you don't have an attorney.
Yeah.
It's not, I want a lawyer, I want my lawyer. That's right. There's a Sixth Amendment right to counsel that attaches, and that supersedes the Fifth. People don't know that. So, and then I would sit down and just wait, cooperate, and let the process take its course.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people don't know that difference. What is that Sixth Amendment?
Okay, so everyone thinks they know their Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and people always ask, "Oh, they didn't read my rights," and that is your right to not self-incriminate. So you have a right when you're in custody and/or under arrest to not be compelled to say something against your self-interests. But that can be waived under many circumstances. Passage of time, you voluntarily starting to talk, asking questions of your own, and you can just agree to waive those rights. Your Sixth Amendment right is the right to counsel. And what that says is when you are represented by an attorney, law enforcement cannot talk to you until and unless your attorney is present, and you, as the accused, cannot waive that right even if you try to without your attorney being present.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so once you say, I have my lawyer, they know they cannot talk to you because anything you say is going to be suppressed, and you can't agree to waive that, they're done. That there's nothing to say, nothing to do. Take prints, do cuffs, but no talking.
Yeah, so I want my lawyer not I want a lawyer.
Correct, because you're saying you want a lawyer is your right to have an attorney appointed at some time down the road, but no one's representing you.
Yeah.
My lawyer means I have someone, there's a buffer, do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Absolutely. And his name is Jack. That's who you call.
I would say if you carry a firearm, I've said this before on this program even, if you carry a firearm, know a criminal defense attorney. Have that attorney's name and number in your phone.
Brooke, nice to meet you.
You want that. It's insurance. Have that initial phone call so that you're not trying to find that person when you need them.
Yeah.
You have them. God bless you, never need them. That's great. But you don't want to be looking around for that information when you got to call 911.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best attorney to have is one that you never talk to.
I mean, you could talk to us. You just
Okay. Well, you never need, I guess.
Right. That you never need. You know, we're people too.
All right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Listen, speaking of being people, you want to get a little personal? Pokemon cards. Tell me about it, Jack.
Okay.
Let them see it. Let them know. What? There it is.
That is Clobopus. So
Now, Jack, hold on a second because Brooke is actually an expert on Pokemon. Explain.
Can I see Clobopus? I don't think this one's that strong. It only says 80.
So, Jack, just so you know, you got a weak Clobopus. Which I've had some people on this program.
well, I will. So I mentioned before, I'm a father of two. Mm-hmm. My children gave me this card,
All right.
and they asked that I put it in between the phone case and the phone, and I happily obliged. So
You should
Clobopus
see if
is-
it's worth anything. You need an upgrade on your
It is
phone.
worth more than I would not sell it. It's not for sale. My
So,
kids gave me that. So that's
I have a Dixie plate painted yellow, 2 googly eyes glued to it. It's priceless. So I know exactly what you're talking about there.
There you go. So, yeah. So that's I proudly share that with anyone who wants to see it. My
See
kids
that?
gave me that.
Attorneys,
Close-up of that. Yep.
attorneys, not just lawyers. You can talk to them. They're nice people. They got kids.
Wrap it.
Right. All right. So, absolute wonderful night. I'd like to thank you, Jack. Thank you, Brooke, for everybody for coming down. Great night. Great information. If you want to know anything else, the entire podcast will be linked in the bio below. And you can check it out with thinredlinetactical.com. Thank you and have a great night.